Hi and welcome to Connected. On the show we have Scotty McDonald giving us a detailed look into youth engagement. We'll be discussing real estate with residential property expert Andrew Winter, a one-on-one interview with Ipswich councillor David Palkey about the Ipswich Poetry Feast, and we'll be interviewing metal band Zombie Apocalypse Theory. But first, let's check out what's happening in town. Singer-songwriter Xavier Rudd will be playing in town October 8 at the Tivoli. His latest album, Spirit Bird, hit number 2 on the album charts last year, and his ability to play a large range of instruments at one time is just jaw-dropping. Sure to be a treat for the ladies is the return of Andre Rieu at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre on October 12. Andre has sold out shows worldwide with his emotional and entertaining violin playing style, so don't be surprised if tickets get snapped up quickly. The Brisbane Fitness and Health Expo is on at the Convention and Exhibition Centre this weekend, the 12th and 13th of October. There'll be plenty of exhibitors, demonstrations and shows, and heaps of activities to keep the kids entertained as well. If you're a budding writer, then make sure you get along to Genre Con at the State Library of Queensland from October 11 to 13. There'll be plenty of special guests and events running over the 3 days, so log on to the website for a full list of programs and activities. And if you're looking to buy any crafty little knickknacks for around the home, then look no further than the Briz-style Indie Designer Markets, October 12. There'll be plenty of homemade materials on sale, including clothes, homewares and baked goods. Don't forget to stay connected through our website and Facebook page for more events. Well, there's always lots of things happening around town, but now my first guest is youth pastor on 96.5, passionate about helping and encouraging youth to create better pathways. I'd like to welcome to the show Scotty McDonald. How are you, Scotty?
G'day, mate. Good, glad to be here. Good
to have you with us, and doing some fantastic work out there through 96.5. Tell us a little bit about the youth engagement program that you're part of.
Yeah, so two very distinct areas that I work in. Obviously, there's the radio show, and then once I'm done there, I'm packed up and go on and involved in the church and working in youth work over in the church. But I can tell you that it all starts from the 96.5 side of things. I spent 3 years on their Night Alive program, which is a program specifically designed to be talking to high schoolers in Brisbane. And it sort of doesn't move with trends as a lot of radio shows do, where it's just focused on what's cool, what's happening. We've got some really cool guys that run that show, but rather than just, I suppose, letting teenagers dictate where they'll take the content and some of the negative impacts of that, they sort of just follow what decent standards, family values, all that kind of stuff, and put some good programming out that way.
So what's the response from the audience?
Oh, it's fantastic. And especially Zach, who's on there now, who looks after it, has done an incredible job of just doing some really good interaction, especially through social media and that kind of gear, and has done a spectacular job of that, yeah.
Now, there's a lot of on-the-ground work too that you do through 96.5. Tell us a little bit about some of the programs that the station runs, like around fuel and some of the activities that are happening through
So they're actually separate. They're not associated with each other. They're two different.
Sure.
They're two different programs. But let's kind of pull them apart individually. So the radio station does a lot of work to sort of support some of the local community groups around town. Whether that's youth groups and scouting groups and that kind of thing. They send a lot of the night show is done from those shows. From those youth groups and that sort of thing, to build up them and also introduce young people into other things that they can be doing to pass time and to I suppose be spending a Friday night, or I think it was a Thursday night, they did one last week. I think the really key thing is that we're bringing up a generation at the moment who are so engaged and who are so aware of what's happening in the world that they're desperate to connect and they're desperate to do things to more or less change the world. But we don't give them the opportunities to, and we still have this real kids these days feel about everything that's going on. Oh, you're too young to do that. Oh, when you're older, you can do that. But these guys, they're using social media and they're connected to the world and they want to be connected to the world, but they're being held down so much as, oh, you're not old enough yet, you're not old enough yet. And so when we can provide those opportunities, so through 96.5, by pushing out there, hey, there's these groups that meet and do this, or with my work within the church, like Fuel, where you can provide spaces where young people can find a place where they can actually use those skills and use that passion on their heart, it's pretty incredible what they can achieve.
Fantastic. Scotty, thank you so much for coming in, and love your passion for what you're doing.
Thank you.
And if you'd like more information on Scotty McDonald and the Fuel program, check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/EYO Fuel. Coming up next, we discuss poetry with Councillor David Palkey and talk real estate with housing expert Andrew Winter. Stay connected. Welcome back to Connected. Our next guest is Ipswich City Councillor David Palkey, who's been a councillor at the Ipswich City Council since 1995. On the program today, we're going to talk, though, about the arts and the Ipswich Poetry Feast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, David, the Poetry Feast itself has been going now for this year, 11 years, which has been phenomenal and tremendous success.
It has been. We're into the final scenes of Poetry Feast number 11, which has grown in stature and prestige over the last 10, 11 years.
And I guess to give it some sort of context, I mean, you've got some pretty high-powered people who are sitting there in the patron seat.
Oh, everyone knows Joy Chambers and Reg Grundy from the TV days of the 60s and 70s and 80s. She's our international patron. And of course, Matt Foley, former Minister of the Arts in Queensland, is our national patron.
So from that, then the entrance, I know you get entries into the different categories from around Australia and certainly even sometimes around the world.
We call ourselves a national poetry competition, but lately we've sort of been using international because it's been sparking interest from all around the world and some winners from overseas.
So in terms of interest in poetry, do you see it actually growing?
We really concentrate on schools. We have online poetry workshops. We have about 20 workshops in schools around the Ipswich region. So our philosophy is to try and teach young people the love of poetry.
And so what kind of people are you finding entering into the competition?
Well, everyone can recite a poem off the top of their head. Everyone can put words to paper. And we encourage people of all ages to put words to paper. Some find the love of poetry later in life. Some have it all their life.
And certainly a lot of it too is some very deep personal journeys of life where that starts coming out as they pen this work. And other stuff is quite light-hearted and fun. It is.
My personal favourite is funny bush poetry. That's always been a personal favourite of mine. Like for $8,000 at stake, over many categories of age groupings, there's a lot of competition.
Now, why is the Ipswich City Council willing to get behind this?
I think it showcases a cultural side of Ipswich that probably not many people realise is there. And it's become prestigious. And I've got to admit, we've had tenacious support from the Ipswich City Council and councillors for this competition.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And certainly a number of local businesses that have got behind it as well, which is good.
We've had R.T. Edwards, and we've had the Metro Hotel, River Radio we've had on board, and you need sponsors. You need sponsors that have been committed, and a lot of them have been committed since day one. Tommy Edwards, icon of Ipswich, been there since day one.
Yeah, which is as you said, very important to have that kind of support. Now, within the schools, you're doing also some programs where students can be helped to look at the kind of work they can submit.
Yeah, well, look, we have 20 workshops in schools. Early on in the competition, we sort of concentrated on quantity rather than quality. But lately, we're finding in the last few years that teachers themselves are realising quality is the way to go. And instead of getting 30 entries from schools, we're probably getting the best of the 10 or 15 entries.
Okay. Well, I certainly look forward to being with you as we come around to the 11th annual awards presentation up very soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. And if you'd like to have more information around the Ipswich Poetry Feast, you can go to the W's, ipswichpoetryfeast.com.au. If you're looking into buying a new home, jazzing up your living space or investing in real estate, we have Australia's leading residential property expert right here on the show. Andrew Winter is the host of the Logie-nominated show Selling Houses on Foxtel's Lifestyle channel. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
And certainly a brilliant show. Congratulations on what you're doing. But certainly real estate is one of those things I guess we kind of all certainly involved with, but step back a little bit thinking about real estate agents. Why were you attracted to want to get into that industry?
Oh, look, I had a passion for residential property from a very early age. In fact, I even used to drag my poor parents around display homes when I was a kid, which is very, very sad. In fact, I call it my footy. Houses are my footy. I wanted to be an architect, went to enroll, sat down there as a 16-year-old being told that you know, it was going to take me 8 to 9 years of my life to become an architect, being very impatient and wanting a car and wanting all these things, and it being the 80s, I decided that I wouldn't do it. And the next best thing for me that could get me close to housing was real estate. And I managed to get a job, but only as I turned 17 and when I got my full driving licence.
Important.
Very, yeah, very important. I mean, how they ever took me on, they took a big risk, but yeah.
Obviously very successful for you, and I guess probably just over that part before we come to television, what is it that you think made that mark for you to be successful in real estate? What are those attributes?
I think one of the, there are two elements to real estate as a job, and that's property and people. Those are the most important things. I actually was never interested, and still not, in the concept of business. That doesn't fascinate me at all. Housing fascinates me in every form, from the structure, the fabric of the building, to why people like that and why people don't like that. I adore that. I adore the, actually that's not always the term I would have used in my real estate day-to-day job of adoring people. I hated a lot of them. But just the challenges of the buying and selling public were quite amazing. And I think those combination kept me going. So probably unlike a lot of real estate agents actually I meet and come across over the years, there's far more interest in business. That was never my interest. My interest was, yeah, sure, I wanted a nice car and a nice house, so yes, I'm shallow. But that's compulsory as a real estate agent. You have to be shallow. But the actual business bit I was never very good at. What I was really good at was putting you with the right house and knowing what you wanted. And even long before, there were no property shows. In fact, I know I rabbit on a lot, but the first property shows that started in the UK on our television were in the mid-90s, generally about making pretty table lamps and putting up curtains and things like that. But the very first real estate show started in the 1995, 96 era. And it was dreadful, absolutely dreadful when I look back. But my goodness, I could not miss that show. I don't think the ratings were terribly good of it, but at that point, nobody realised what a turning point. All it was, the format was ridiculous. There was a guy like you sat in a chair, someone like me as a buyer, and they'd film me. No, sorry, not even leaving here. They would show video image of 3 houses, and the real estate agent going around that house going, this is the kitchen, this is the living room. And then after 30 minutes, the big decision had to be made. Which house did they like the best? And then they'd send a building inspector in, and then they'd go and show them, look at this. That was it. No.
So was that the motivation for you to come into television?
No, absolutely not. No, I was just ecstatic that finally property had made it onto television. The role from, well, it wasn't from real estate to television, because it always was real estate and television for the first half of my television bit, but it was by accident. A colleague of mine put my name forward because it was around 2001, and in the UK, Location, Sarah Beaner's Property Ladder and Grand Designs were the first few shows. The same channel wanted a selling houses type show, and they were scouting for somebody. My colleague found out and put my name forward and never told me.
Okay, and the rest is history in that sense.
Yeah, it was complicated history because I turned it down.
Oh, did you?
I got the job on false pretenses, because she had sort of led to believe that it was just a one-off, and it turned out to be a series, and I refused it.
But one of the things that's a real mark as a viewer of that program is your honesty because I see that eye of the tiger, where you are linking person with house, as you've already described. But is that really then basically what you always operate as?
Yeah, straightforward, direct. That was always the way I operate, which was an unusual approach and certainly didn't fit all circumstances.
I'm sure, but
not always get the listing, not always get the deal.
But I guess in reality, people would really appreciate the fact that you can just get to where you want to get to and get the house you want.
Yes, you know, my way of business wasn't always everyone's cup of tea, but it did me okay.
Fantastic. Andrew, lovely to meet you. Thanks so much for coming in. And don't forget, you can catch the show on Lifestyle Channel on Foxtel. Also check out Andrew's website at andrewwinter.com.au. Coming up next, we meet with the progressive metal band Zombie Apocalypse Theory, and we'll be showcasing the new music video. It's all here. First on Connected. Stay with us. Welcome back. Earlier we caught up with progressive metal band Zombie Apocalypse Theory and discussed all things metal.
Hi guys, I'm Nathan from the Midnight Briefcase. We're here at a super secret location in the middle of Brisbane, hanging out with Zombie Apocalypse Theory. How about you introduce yourselves to us?
I'm Dan, I play bass.
Matt, drums.
AJ on vocals.
I'm Chris, I play guitar.
Okay, so when did you guys form?
Probably 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's about 2 years now, yeah.
Late 2011.
Yeah? Okay guys, so tell us about the Zombie Apocalypse Theory and how that came about.
Yeah, well, you know, me and Daniel have been jamming together for years now, like since high school, and you know, neither of us can sing to save ourselves, so AJ came along and she was our singer, and Daniel eventually turned from a guitar player into a bass player, and yeah, then we went looking for a drummer. We found Matt, our drummer, on Gumtree. Which is pretty cool. We posted an ad.
We get everything.
It's quite resourceful idea.
I was looking for band members from my band. They asked me if I wanted to join a band, so we organized it. Seemed a little quicker that way.
So coming together, you know, as a band, trying to pull members together, I know from my own experiences, it's always hard to find people who are, you know, committed and ready to rock up to jam every day. Did you guys ever have that problem?
The first guy who came along, he showed up to practice and he played with us for like, you know, maybe an hour and a half. This was before we'd even met Matt. Yeah. And then he says, oh guys, you know, I really need to go home. The guy couldn't take an hour and a half of practice, and we went looking for a drummer, and we tried a couple of guys out that weren't very committed, or you know, just weren't the right kind of drummer for us. And we tried out Matt, who we met on the internet. And
not everyone's a 13-year-old boy on the internet. Sometimes you have a drummer on the other end.
We're a hard-working band, you know. We really like to practice a lot. Well, I think we get a lot of enjoyment, all of us, out of practicing, and so, you know...
It's a very relaxing thing. We come home from work and we jam to release everything.
Yeah, so it's always looking forward to coming to jam. It's not like oh god, I'm going to hang out with these people. So tell us about Zombie Apocalypse Theory. I walked up to you in the street and I met you. You know, you said I play in Zombie Apocalypse Theory. And tell us about your sound. You know, we are a what band?
John Bonham may have had a love child with some of the boys from Tool, and that's kind of how
prog metal, probably something like Tool, doing dirty things to Led Zeppelin. We're kind of trying to go along the line of you know, really great Aussie bands like Carnival and Butterfly Effect, but by the same token, you know, we've got a really kind of fundamental hard rock kind of thing going on underneath. I mean, like Matt has huge Sabbath influences and that kind of stuff as well.
So you guys got an EP out.
It's called The Pandemic Begins. It's got 8 tracks on it, and self-recorded.
It's about 45 minutes long. We recorded it ourselves.
You got your EP, you've been playing shows off the back of that, so where have you been playing, guys?
Anywhere we can find a gig in Brisbane, really. We played at the Zoo, we played at the Tempo a whole heap of times, played at Rick's a couple of times now.
One of my favourite shows was last year's Zombie Walk, and having the Master Chief, Halo Master Chief walking out and banging to somebody.
Awesome.
That was pretty epic.
Yeah, the Brisbane Zombie Walk, that's a great one.
You played it?
Yeah, we played there last year. We're sort of hoping we got a recurring thing going, especially with the name.
We're definitely playing there this year.
Yeah, we are.
We'd really like to do a tour, but we haven't quite got to that stage yet.
Well, I saw you had the van out there before, you kind of all geared up and go.
Oh, we're ready. We're ready.
Don't have too much gear to fit in the van, unfortunately.
You've got to invest in a trailer.
Need a bus.
Need a bus?
Need a bus.
Oh.
That's it.
we're gear nerds too, you know, so going on tour, you need a
take
big
a lot of
van,
stuff with you.
possibly multiple vans.
So you guys got an EP out, and I hear you guys are about to drop a new one. Tell us about that.
It's a little way off. Yeah, we've been working on it pretty much non-stop since we finished the EP.
Yeah, got a bunch of new material. Trying to really up the ante on everything we've ever had before, really. So
Everything's going to 12.
Yeah.
Forget this 11 business. 11 is old hat, it's done, it's dusted. 12 is the new 11.
Switch to 12.
That's it.
Absolutely.
So thanks guys for coming and hanging out with us tonight. You guys about to go off and have a jam?
Where's Zombie Apocalypse Theory?
And this is Void.
That was Zombie Apocalypse Theory. You can check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/zombieapocalypse theory. You can also check their EP out on iTunes, or you can get it right here. And back to you, Ashley.
Well, that looks like all we have time for tonight. Thanks to Scotty McDonald, Andrew Winter, David Palkey, Zombie Apocalypse Theory for coming on the show. Make sure you check us out at connectedtv.com.au for more information and check out our previous shows. Until next week, same time, stay connected.